Legere is a man that I admire for several reasons. And one of the reasons why I admire him is because he's turning the telecommunications world upside down. And one of the ways that he's doing this is he's using a medium that we all have access to, but he's using it in a way that so few CEOs are using it. But most of you are probably thinking, who is this guy? Who is John Legere? I never heard of him. So let me help introduce you to him. John Legere is actually from the good old US of A. He was born in the state of Massachusetts. He went to all Catholic schools until he was done with high school, at which point he entered college with a simple ambition: to be a gym teacher. Yes, you heard me correctly. He wanted to do nothing but be a gym teacher until he got to college. And he figured out at that point that business would be a much loftier way to make income in his life. At that point, he decided that he wanted to get not just an MBA, but a PhD from such wonderful schools as Harvard. After he was done with his college education, he started his corporate career with a company known as AT&T. He eventually helped this company build their enterprises in Asia. After he was done working there, he went to a company known as Dell, and he helped them build their enterprises in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Asia as well. At that point, he was able to become CEO of a company called Global Crossings. Now, once he was there, he did two really cool things. He was able to take a company that was about to be bankrupt and help them become a company that was making a profit, so profitable that another company named Level 3 Communications wound up purchasing this company. So you guys are thinking to yourselves, John Legere, this guy hits home runs all the time. He's perfect. He's got the Midas touch and everything. I'll tell you, you're absolutely wrong. He's actually been divorced twice, but he has stayed active in running, has competed in events like the Boston Marathon, and he has been an activist for people that have maybe cancer or other heinous diseases and want to continue running. But at the exact same time, from that, he's got a kind of the words that come to mind for him would be eccentric and unscrupulous attitude. Or at least this is how his fellow executives from his former employers describe him. But this is one of the things that makes him a great CEO, because to be a great CEO, sometimes you have to do eccentric things and be unscrupulous. And the medium that he's using to do this a lot is actually Twitter. And this is what I'm going to focus on for the rest of this talk. How many CEOs actually use their Twitter account to do something other than highlight their business and their life? That's all they really use it for. He has decided that he wants to use Twitter as a way to communicate with all of us, his customers, and his employees. So he's sending out tweets where he says, hey, how can we serve you better as a customer? Or asking questions like, what is your cell carrier not doing that we could do and earn your business? He's got on Fox News and he talked about this when they were interviewing him, and he said, you know, this industry is totally backwards and I want to change it. So he's doing things that few people wouldn't do. Okay, another example he's actually literally slamming a lot of his competition by throwing out tweets like, the family plan is one of the biggest ripoffs in this industry, or he's saying that the industry is absurd and arrogant. So he's turning around and using it as a way to advertise what his company gives to people. An interesting way that he used Twitter to advertise is, instead of using normal mediums like TV, radio, and internet ads, he went on to Twitter and said, okay, we're going to give all of our customers free Wi-Fi when they go on a plane, or the recent Netflix ad that came out of, he put it on Twitter first, and then put the ads in. So a very different way of doing business. Again, eccentric and unscrupulous. Nobody would think about doing that. But one of the things that really made me admire him is that he actually has been using it to slam other CEOs. I will use expletives instead of the actual word, but in one of his recent tweets he said, Roger, this is where you poop your pants. The poop was an expletive. But this is a very different way of doing business. And he came out on an interview in CNN and Fox News where he said the reason he's doing this is because if we look at corporate CEOs, they act like these spoiled, highly paid children that are in this bubble. And they don't bother to connect with their customers, employees, or anyone else. They just want to be in this little world. He used an example of Twitter. He said, take a brand new CEO. They open up a Twitter account. People start calling them names on this Twitter account. The CEO may have to go to the child and say, hey, what exactly are these names I'm being called? And that is one of the things I really admire about him, is that he is using methods that are totally, again, unscrupulous and eccentric, but yet he's turned his company, T-Mobile, from the 4th largest cell carrier in the United States to the 3rd largest, and now he's aiming to be number 2, right behind AT&T. So, again, John Legere, a person that nobody really knew about, but yet he's taking the telecommunications world and flipping it upside down by communicating with his customers, slamming the competition, slamming other CEOs, and bringing business to his company. Thank you, my fellow Toastmasters.